What would it do for your business if you could sell more corporate wellness packages? And if one presentation could result in dozens or hundreds of new clients? Corporate clients generally mean higher sales within a shorter period of time. And if you're a gym owner, you already have a list of corporate clients you're trying to reach, but with more gyms competing for the same corporate clients, what makes yours stand out? This episode will provide some ideas so you can create presentations that don't just talk about features like how many treadmills and classes you have a week. If you're a solo entrepreneur, don't go away. I have something in this episode for you too. This market can still be something that works for you while you're building your program and hopefully taking some fast actions with private clients so you're creating profit margin from the very beginning. You can open a whole new way to add revenue with corporate clients as a target. I'm Deborah Atkinson. You're listening to She Means Fitness Business. It's a division of my business, Voice for Fitness. And at Voice for Fitness, our entire team knows that you want to be an inspirational example to other midlife women. To do that, we all need a profitable health and fitness business. So we have the power and the leverage of the money behind us to do whatever we want with it. If money is an uncomfortable term with you, give it away. Give scholarships. Do good with it. But we need it in order to exhibit that power. And if you have the education and you have the heart, but yet you're not getting clients, I know exactly how it feels. I started over. I get it. Not just my life, but my business at 49. I have worked with trainers and health coaches for 25 years internationally. And here's how I coach them. We get you more clients, and we make sure you have a profit margin so you can enjoy a new freedom of lifestyle that you want. And the third thing is we make sure you have the time and have not backed yourself into a corner, spending time trying to solve the world's problems. Yeah, it's virtuous, but you can only solve a small part of them, and you shouldn't be breaking yourself down in order to solve what is broken. So you can book a call with me right now. Let's make sure we're a good match. But in the meantime, I want you to get the Health and Fitness Professionals Business Scorecard. I designed it so you can go through and look at it as a checklist for what am I missing and what area do I actually need to really focus on to fill the holes that I have in my funnel. And that way, you stop feeling like your dream's slipping away and you watch other less qualified influencers gain more clients and make more revenue. And you can instead, I've watched people do it, gain $5,000 more every single month in the first 90 days of working with me. All right, let's dive into this. Corporate clients is another revenue stream, and maybe it's your only revenue stream, and maybe it's just something you are ready to open up your mind to, maybe not now, but for later. Selling corporate wellness, you have to appeal to two things: how they win if they do it, and how they lose if they don't do it. Pretty easy, right? But, my guess is we don't actually go into this depth of conversation. When you're in a sales conversation, you get up all in your head. Am I right? Get up all in your head. And then suddenly you're like, I just got to get this over with and like be quiet and I can see what they say, right? So I want you to be organized. How do they benefit? Well, number one, I think we know these things, but I'm going to say them out loud. Greater productivity, right? When people exercise on a regular basis, you get a team that gives you greater productivity. They have fewer errors during the greater amount of work they are producing. They have greater job satisfaction. There are research studies about this, and I have quoted them from stages when I'm speaking to corporations, whether it's all female corporations or it's men and women involved in as genders across the board in the audience. But when people are polled who have exercised during their work day, when they're polled at the end of the day, job satisfaction scores go up. Now, that doesn't mean somebody has to like take time out of their workday to go do it, or they have to do it over the lunch hour. But when they exercise on a workday, they like their job better. There's more loyalty. That's really important in today's world where people quit. It's a quitter's economy, in fact. Okay, so let's go into the next part. Without your health or fitness team, your members, customer care suffers, right? Customers hear everything that's going wrong with the business. I mean, if you've got anybody on the front lines and you are, say, a corporate leader, you're the boss, you're the owner, you're the manager, small or big business, medium business, doesn't really matter. But if your employees are not happy, they don't have any loyalty to you, what are they doing? Everything that they don't agree with, every decision you're making they don't agree with, they're telling somebody about it. They're disgruntled, dissatisfied, and your customers are hearing about it from them. Whether it's your front desk person, right? It's the person answering the telephone, less so, right? But face-to-face people tend to chat a little bit more. And that's could go wrong. Customer service goes down when distracted or disgruntled employees don't do their best. And they're not doing their best, right? If they're don't have any energy, they're relying on caffeine or sugar or both, and not sleeping as well as they would if they were somebody who exercised correctly or properly. And here's the other thing. No matter what a corporation does in their business, somebody's wife or mother or partner or daughter is hurt in the meantime, meaning they're not getting as good a service. Or maybe if it's you're talking to a hospital about their corporate wellness package, how ironic is that? But somebody's not getting as good a care, right? Somebody's mother is not getting as good a care. And that's really important. Not to mention, we can go down the meta rabbit hole. So the employees, the nurses, the RNs, the NPs, those people are also somebody's sister, somebody's mom, somebody's daughter, and they're not really, thriving in their jobs or positions. Don't stop there. Here's the thing. Everyone else will. You want to be able to share some details. You want to be able to track participation, share the number of visits or the progress or the amount of participation that a certain companies or corporations, employees have had. Can you provide additional white glove service to a corporation's employees who join? Like, exclusively, here's what we're going to do for your employees. So every member gets this or every participant gets this, but what we're doing for your group is blah, blah, blah. What can you come up with? Can you include a special recipe guide, meal plan, training for a 5K? Maybe it's a corporate 5K event or another adventure that gets them excited about doing it. A corporation wants to know how greater loyalty can be inspired by the expense that they're going to have. So show them, instead of costing money and requiring someone's time on their staff, that you have things in place to help create cohesiveness among these people. Now, I mean, let's be honest. If we were talking about a traditional fitness center, and you don't have to be, so if you have a digital business, this works very similarly. But if you have, say, a traditional fitness center and you have a corporation down the street, you have people who might work shift from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. or from 3 to 11. People are going to come in at varying times of day, and some of them will want to go to a fitness class. Some of them will want to do strength training only on their own. Some of them will want to go lap swimming. They're not necessarily all seeing each other and high-fiving and in the same class or in the same room, and don't need to be. However, you could still take a group of people and put them on teams teams for a small business, maybe it's teams of 3 or teams of 5, and there's a yellow and the blue and the red team, and they are all competing, the groups competing against each other. But within these groups, everybody's reliant on each other. And it's not about weight or weight loss or ability to lift weight, because that would be imperfect and you can't compare it. But you could make it reliant on frequency of visits. You could make it reliant on, did they do something extra, like they recorded their hydration or they recorded their sleep, and just tracking things, because then if it's on their awareness, because you know it, they're tracking it with you or for you, that is so huge. And you're really looking at, okay, now you're showing them, you're creating cohesiveness around this group so that they can rely on each other. It's like everybody's going to be cheering for, hey, did you get in? Reminding somebody, hey, did you exercise today? Did you work out today? How many times have you been there? I'm going then. When are you going? It is really them supporting each other, not so much putting pressure on each other, but they're supporting each other in the way that otherwise they might not. And maybe it's teams that don't even interact with each other in the workplace, but now they see familiar faces when they walk into the building. They know there's familiar people, even if they don't see them. Somebody's working the night shift, it's very quiet. Somebody's working a day shift and they're behind a cubicle, but you still can change the game. Can you show them the cost of, do a little research here, show them the cost of losing an employee and recruiting and hiring and onboarding a new one, and show the stats on productivity. What does it mean? So again, you've got to do some of your due diligence and think about, are you presenting to a really small business owner or to a medium business? Are you presenting to a larger business owner? Different things will be more important depending on the size. So camaraderie and loyalty and retaining employees may be really important to a larger corporation, more so than to a smaller corporation. So be open-minded to the fact that smaller corporations, maybe you want to do a corporate deal with the CEO and their partner and with their, you know, top line 2-tier other people who are selling or who are coaches, maybe 4 people and that's it, and their spouses. But look at how much influx of new business you get, and you've done one presentation in order to get it. That can be a huge turnaround for you. Tell them how you're celebrating wins and give them the details about employees' use or progress with their permission. So it's really important that if you're going to share, X amount of weight loss based on people or individuals, you actually have to ask permission to do that. But collectively, you could say, you're all blinded. Your names are masked. We're just going to collectively say, look, on average, each of your individuals has improved their fitness level by this. They have improved their strength by this. They tell us self-reports of their sleep quality is this. They've dropped, X amount of body fat, increased lean muscle. So whatever it is might be important, but you want some kind of measure and say, look, we can provide you with this. And you'll have evidence of how many people are actually using this so they can see for themselves how their investment is paying off if, in fact, they've invested. Now, I want to make sure that you understand a couple of things. So in some cases, you may be presenting and you're going to a boss or the CEO, the chief operating organizer of the organization, and all you're doing is getting permission to give a presentation to their people. You're giving employees a discount simply because you're able to speak to a large group of employees. But there may be no upfront fee on the part of the corporation itself. That's how a lot of corporate accounts are landed. It's just you get your foot in the door so you can go and give a presentation. Employees are left to make their own decisions. So other fitness centers, studios may also be able to come in and make a presentation. So realize that you are competing, and the employees will be making their decision, because employees cannot say, join here, this is who we have the corporate account with. However, you might win out as the one that they seem to talk more about, and you're giving them a reason to put something maybe in a newsletter about congratulations to all the participants in this, because here's what we know: they've lost X amount of body fat, they've gained X amount of lean muscle, they're reporting self-reports of sleep or better, blah, blah, blah. So if you have that kind of data to give them, they can put that in a newsletter, and then you may rise up to the top as the choice that people choose to make. But realize there are probably more corporate accounts set up just like that. You're just getting your foot in the door by finding the CEO, the manager, whoever's in charge of giving you access. And sometimes, let me just tell you that if you're going in to talk to a corporation that is doing shift work, you're going to go in and you're going to do a 5:30 in the morning presentation. And I tell you how I know that. It's not a lot of fun. And if those are, in the middle of January when it's frozen tundra outside and you are doing that in Iowa, also can't tell you how I know that. But I've done my score of those, and you have to do it when they're available. Another time, some people get off. They get off of their shift and end it at 3 a.m. or 2 a.m. It's when they want to exercise, or it's when they've got a break room. Most of them are not going to stick around at the end of their work shift. However, you might get some end of their work shift or beginning of another. That's often a time when they'll say, okay, we'll schedule it for right hand. So you'll get the most people if we do it that way. But just be prepared to go in when it's convenient for them. So here's step by step to selling corporations if you've never thought of this before. So first, start a list of corporations in a spreadsheet, and start with maybe 3 tabs where you say small and medium and large corporations that I could speak with. Do not let yourself go down this rabbit hole right now. Put everybody on there this would be definitely, I should go and speak with them. You hear about a new company starting up, a new tech company, a new this company. There are lots of new ones that came about in the pandemic. Well, okay, make yourself useful and take initiative and speak to them first. So get a list going, and do not filter with, but they probably already have somebody. They've already had somebody come in. They have a corporate account somewhere else. Doesn't mean they couldn't have one with you too, and realize, this is an option, especially if you're listening and you're a digital business. A lot of people are choosing to exercise at home. They want to get home after work and have their shift. They don't want to stop at the fitness center. So help them to do that and make exercise easy at home. Include on your spreadsheet details about who's the contact. Who have you contacted? Who's the main contact, the decision maker? And when did you contact them? When are you following up next? And get that into a calendar if you put those in there. Find out how they prefer to be contacted. Do they want to call, email, text? Make it your job to learn more about the decision maker and budget. Any budget is also really important. Put together a variety of packages, like special offer to employees or a bonus within a time frame for getting started with you. Now realize that you can't actually have we have this special going on until a certain time. You might want to look at that at the very beginning, but remember, people leave and people come, right? New people are hired, old people or current people get fired. So it's important that you're considering, don't put a limited time on something when there is a lot of turnover. So that might be a consideration you have to make. Follow up. Invite the decision maker for a free trial. let them do it. Or say your decision maker is not the ideal candidate. Show it to them somehow, whether you give them a tour, virtual tour, or you're showing them behind the scenes in your membership online. But if they're not the ideal, say, listen, do you have somebody who would be an ideal candidate that you would love to give a trial membership to? Maybe it's one of your chief officers. Maybe it's your receptionist. Maybe it's your spouse. To, get their feedback, see how they like it, and make that offer. Book a presentation or a series of presentations. So when we've gone into something like I described with 3M, where there are shift workers, we did a series of them. So yes, we went in there at, 5:30 a.m. before shifts, but then had to go back at 2:30 p.m. and, do them around the clock and do them regularly, because it has to be live. You can't record it and say, hey, yeah, the rest of you guys watch this. Make it live, make it a series, and it could be a series of different content as well. And you want to know when you're doing that presentation, how much time do you have, and do not go over it. Because remember, they've granted you access. This is a work day. So whether it's the employees on their lunch hour or on a break, or it's the owner, manager, operator who's worried about productivity and you're taking time from the business, neither one of them wants to give up that time. So super important that you're aware of these things. But remember, this could be, you talk to a big corporation with thousands of employees, maybe you're not going to get them all because there is other competition. People make choices for various reasons, but you can get in front of them and give them the option. And what is a reasonable offer? Well, it's, in a gym, often it would say, we're going to waive the membership fee, the joining fee, and here's the monthly fee. That's just one option. Maybe if you do something similarly, you have a membership fee, but very few digital businesses do. But you might say, I'm going to offer your group a special joining enrollment fee for this for an annual membership, or this for a 6-month membership. So obviously the reduction is going to be better. The percent off is going to be better for the year because you want them in where you can really help them and nurture them. And for 6 months, you're going to, it's not as good, but it is still good. And this is really important that they feel like this is a real benefit to be working here for this company. And you want to relay that again to the CEO, the decision maker, so that they're inclined to want to promote you and see that it's saving them money. If they develop loyalty among their people and they feel taken care of, and it's one of the perks and the benefits of working here. It's kind of like, if you can't offer, such a great compensation package, either monetarily in the pay, compensation, in commissions, or in retirement benefits, or in insurance, this is another way to offer a benefit of working here at no cost to you. So just some things for you to think about, and think about, how are you really going to show that you're getting it? So you want to be organized and be able to segment groups out based on how they joined, and use your CRM to tag them, and use something to track. Here's when they joined. How about their usage? Can you somehow monitor and track that? So there are a lot of tools for digital, like Plus This, that can look at somebody's use of certain videos or programs, and hooking things up with something like Zapier can also help you. So you don't have to know how. A tech team can do that, but what you need to know is what you want to happen, and then you can go find somebody to build that for you. But this could be a great new revenue stream for you, and or one to really embellish. If you're already doing corporate packages, make sure that you're doing both. What do they get? What are the benefits of getting involved in fitness? But don't forget to go down the other side. What is, without health, without wealth, without benefits of regular exercise done correctly, which they're going to get with you, what will they risk? What are the things that they will lose if they don't do it? That's an important button to push as well. Okay, show notes for today will be at fitnessmarketingmastery.com/sell more corporate wellness. What are you waiting for? It's time to get that together. Start making that list.